Hey Eve, just a quick video on how to combine skin textures in Photoshop. We're going to start with Laurent, and the first thing you need to do is make sure that he is highlighted over in the Scene tab. Then go down to Surfaces, then you're going to click on Laurent, and then you're going to go down, and we're just going to do his face in this one, so just click on Face. And then if you look at base color, that's where the skin texture is, and all you need to do is click on that, go up to browse, and it automatically opens up the folder that has all his textures in it. And so then you want to look for just the regular one that just says Laurent head. Okay, then you can just grab the one you want and drop it onto Photoshop down at the bottom in your down at the bottom of the tray, and that will open the texture right up there for you. Now we're going to go apply an older man's texture on there because I wanted to get some of the older coloration and also some of the older textures. So I'm just kind of looking. I have way too many characters. It's ridiculous. So I'm just looking for an older texture that I think might be good. And I think the Ebenezer. Now this is an 8.1 texture that I'm going to be putting on a Genesis 8, which there's no problem with that. So thankfully when you do it in Photoshop, you don't have to worry about that. So you can actually use it on a 9, you can use it on a 3, however you want to do it, because when you're doing it in Photoshop, you're using the base map of that character as the foundation. So now I'm just going to add the Ebenezer texture to Laurent's head right now. And as you can see, it definitely changed it. And then you're just going to click on that little icon in there, base color, go to browse, and that will open up the folder for Ebenezer's. Now he's got two different faces, so I had to figure out, you need to remember which face you chose for the texture, because when we do the normal maps you want to choose the same normal map that matches the face texture. And that one's just the SSS that makes the translucid lower, so the makes it lighter skin, so don't ignore that. So I got that face one and I just dropped it down into Photoshop, and it brought it right in. Thankfully the 8 and the 8.1 are fairly close, the maps are fairly close, so they line up. And so then I wanted to make sure that the top layer was selected with the Ebenezer. And I'm going to lower the opacity just to see how they're lining up, and they line up really well. And so then I up the opacity again. And now we're going to go down to Photoshop in the layers panel. You're going to go down to the little mask icon, click on that, and that adds a mask to that layer, and you want to make sure the mask is highlighted, and then do Control I, and you're going to see that totally removes the Ebenezer mask. You don't see it right now. Then you're going to go over to brush, and in your brushes you can just go to the general brushes folder, and we're just going to grab the soft round brush. Then I'm going to look at the opacity. I don't want it at 100%. You can pick whatever percentage you want. I lowered it down to about 50. I think I ended up at like 51. And then I just started painting on the mask. Now I made a mistake because I still had, it was still, the color of the brush was still black. So I needed to go over and switch it to white. And so then now when I start painting, you'll see the coloration changing on the face. And so I'm just going all around and coloring it because I'm trying to get the age lines around the mouth and the crow's feet and at the eyes, and just add some older texture, older skin texture to it. And so I just continue painting it on, and we're going to do some in the forehead. Now when I do the forehead, you're going to see some of the age spots come in. And you could do this at 100% if you wanted to, and it just makes it a little easier to blend it if you are at a lower opacity. And then I'm going to show you how you can blend it into the rest of Laurent's texture even better. Because right now you can see the difference, and so just lower it down. I did it to about 20, 22, and then I just went around the edges and kind of lowered it down so it blended in a little bit better. And I decided, maybe we better lower it even more, so I did it down to 11, and then went around the edges and just kind of cleaned it up a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like when I turn that layer off. You'll see the difference. There's a noticeable difference. Okay, then we're going to go up to File and Save As. Now it's automatically going to take me back into where the Laurent head file is, and that's where I definitely want it to go in there, because I like to know that whenever I open up Laurent, I can go ahead and find this texture very quickly. So I kept the Laurent head part, and then I just added the aged edit at the end so that I would know. And then you want to change the Photoshop file to a JPEG, because that's what most of the textures are JPEG. You'll see when I do that it adds all the other stuff that's already in that folder. And so go ahead and save that. And I like everything to be highest quality, so move that up to 12 and then do progressive and then do OK, and that'll give you the highest quality JPEG to use. Okay, now we're back in Daz, and we're going to remove the Ebenezer texture, so I just hit the back button to take that texture off when we're back at Laurent. Now we're going to go over and click on the base color, click the icon, go up to Browse, and now we're going to find the head. Then you can see there's the aged edit. So we're going to open that up. And you're going to see it's just a subtle difference. You can see some of the age spots, and when we go into NVIDIA, I don't know if that's how you say it, that's how I say it, you can see a little bit of the texture. That you don't see much of the color because I had it on such a low color. If you'd done a higher color in Photoshop, then masked in a higher amount of the texture, you'd see a difference. But I'm going to show you a little. That's what it looks like. Just plain Laurent. This is what we did in Photoshop right now when I click on it, and that's the difference. It's subtle, but there's definitely a difference. But this is why we're going to change the normal map, because that's what's going to add the detail and the depth and stuff. So I just want to go over, scroll down to the normal map on Laurent. And you're looking for a little blue icon, purple, I guess it's purple. There's the normal map. So just click on that, go up to Browse, and it's going to once again open up the texture files for Laurent. And I want to do his head the normal. And I just was checking to make sure there wasn't something, if that was the correct normal. And drag it down and over to the Photoshop icon. And it came in a little different for some reason. I'm not really sure why it did. I don't know if it was a different size, but if you enlarge it, go from one corner, so it fits in the corner, then go down there, it's going to keep the correct proportions. Okay, so now we have the Laurent. So now I'm going to go back into Daz. And we're gonna apply the Ebenezer face again with, and I did the no brows so it wouldn't interfere with the, I should have told you that on the original thing. When you bring in the texture, if they have a no brows option or eyebrows off, pick that one, because then it doesn't mess with the base texture's eyebrows. Okay, there it is. Now we go down. Now 8.1s have things called a detail normal map, which just adds more detail, and that's not the one you want. And I forgot about that, and so I was checking out all these things which you don't need to do at all. And so I just need to find the normal. There's the normal map, and click on that. Go up to browse. Now remember, there's an Ebenezer 1 face and Ebenezer 2 face, so I need to use the Ebenezer 1 face for the texture, so we need to choose the Ebenezer 1 face normal. And see, I was like, okay, wait, which one do I pick? So drag that down into Photoshop, and for some reason I pinned it. I did not mean to pin it, so I had to go back to Daz and drag it again, and then just drop it in, because it just kept trying to pin it again, and I didn't want to do that. So it came in as another window, so all you have to do is go click on that and hold down shift and drag it on top of the other one, and it will load it right in the center, so it's right where it's supposed to be. And so I lowered the opacity just to make sure, and yep, it's pretty close, so that's good. Now we're going to do the same masking procedure again. So we're going to make sure that the correct layers, we're going to click on the little mask icon, click on in there and do Control I, and that makes it dark. Then we want to make sure that our brush is white, and we can see that down there it is white, and I upped it to about 30. I didn't want to make him fully old and add all that detail, but you'll see when I start brushing it on, you can see it's very subtle, just the little raised and the furrow and the smile lines. But where you're going to see the difference is in Daz, where it can really pick up the 3D part of it. So I just added, I just went where I wanted to add some more lines and to add some depth. Just masking that on there from the Ebenezer skin. And just get those little crow's feet a little deeper. And you can see the difference when you turn the layer on and off. So go up to File, Save As. Once again, it's going to go back to the Laurent, which I still want it in the Laurent for the normal map, because that's who I'm going to be putting it on. And I was going to add it as to put normal, but then I realized it's going to put it in a different place, whereas if I used aged and then normal map, then it's going to put it right next to my other new texture, which was the aged edit. So then change it from Photoshop to a JPEG, and then do save. And then once again, take it up to 12 and progressive for the quality. Okay, now we're going to go back into Daz. Once again, we're going to take that texture off by hitting the back button. Now we have the texture that we created, the aged edit, and now we're going to go on Laurent and we're going to click on the normal map, go up to browse, and then we're going to find where it's aged normal, which is right next to the other one that we just created. So you're going to open that. I was making sure. And you're going to open it, and it's going to be on there. Now when we go into the iRay render, you're going to see the difference. You can now see the lines much better, and I'll do a close-up so you can see it even better. There you go. And so now you can really see that normal map really helped add some aging. And like I said, you can make it, if we had it on a higher instead of doing the 30%. Now here you can see where there's a little difference in the skin texture. You can just make sure in Photoshop that you make that a little smoother, and I'll do it. I would do it in the post editing, but you can definitely see that the texture is now on there for the crow's feet, and just the more of the furrows in the brow, and then some of the age spots. So that's how you combine two textures in Photoshop and then put them back on your character in Daz. It's not complicated, but it does just take some time. Thanks, Eve. Talk to you later. Bye.